刚融入超火啊，刚融入超火啊，刚融入超火啊，爆炸。
Recently, Zhu Huirong, chairman of Chang'an Automobile in China, publicly exposed the ruthless competition within the industry, drawing attention. His speech unveiled the dark side of China's automotive industry. On January 16, Zhu Huirong's speech at the 2024 Chang'an Automobile Global Partners Conference caught people's attention. He candidly revealed the industry's ruthless competition, criticizing competitors without naming them. He stated, "The industry is really chaotic, to the point that many influential figures are speaking without restraint. The release of products, advertisements, all without any bottom line, all are just friends. I won't say more. Personally, and in terms of Chang'an's values, we find this very bad." Zhu Huirong mentioned that the competition in China's automotive industry is fierce, with companies resorting to exaggerated and false advertising methods to attract consumers. Some advertisements create a sense of speed for a model, with ordinary acceleration performance through special effects and editing misleading consumers. Others portray economy-class family cars as high-end luxury cars by having actors wear luxurious clothing in opulent scenes. Some car companies even pay exorbitant endorsement fees to celebrities who have no first-hand experience with the product's quality and performance, deceiving consumers and violating business ethics. He also expressed disdain for certain behaviors within the industry, such as exaggerating the value of a car worth tens of thousands as being worth millions, stating, "How can the industry be so bad?" Zhu Huirong believes that the disorderly competition in the industry has reached a point where it can't get any worse, and people are facing an uncertain and turbulent era. Although China is the world's largest market for new energy vehicles and the largest producer, Zhu Huirong is not optimistic about the industry's future. He believes that the automotive industry landscape will undergo significant changes in at most 2 years. Despite the nearly 10 million units of new energy vehicles produced domestically in China, with a penetration rate exceeding 35%, the industry as a whole is severely in the red. With high costs and over 70 passenger car brands, only 4 or 5 brands are profitable, and the Matthew effect of the rich get richer, the poor get poorer is becoming increasingly evident. Between 2015 and 2018, the Chinese authorities invested a considerable amount of funds to compete with the international community, fostering dozens of new startup car manufacturers. However, due to poor quality and other reasons, many new cars were abandoned within 1 or 2 years, leading to the phenomenon of electric car graveyards. Faced with substantial government subsidy, many car manufacturers fraudulently claimed subsidies, siphoning off over 9 billion yuan, approximately $1.3 billion. Of the 72 such manufacturers, some produced vehicles that were mere shells and couldn't be driven on the road, ultimately ending up in the electric car graveyard. According to official Chinese media reports, from 2018 to 2023, within just 5 years, the new energy vehicle sector burned through hundreds of billions of yuan, with 400 new energy vehicle companies shutting down as of August 2023. Not only is the new car sales market not ideal, but after-sales service is also challenging to maintain, with frequent incidents of Ford's dealerships closing down. On January 11 this year, the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers announced that only 37.4% of the 2023 car sales target was achieved, with over 60% of dealerships failing to meet sales targets and 23.2% of dealerships achieving a rate below 70. More than 5,000 Ford's dealerships have closed down in the past 3 years. In addition to the issues exposed by Zhu Huirong, new energy vehicles also face problems of shoddy manufacturing. At the China Automotive Power Battery Industry Innovation Alliance's 2023 annual conference, Wang Pan, director of the Power Battery Room at China Automotive Data, stated that by the end of 2022, Accumulated scrap of new energy vehicles had reached 510,000 units, with scrap power batteries totaling 241,000 tons. Among them, lithium iron phosphate and ternary batteries accounted for 56.6% and 39.8%, respectively. Furthermore, incidents of new energy vehicles spontaneously combusting frequently occur nationwide. Only in January of this year, there have been multiple such incidents. In the early morning of January 21, a new energy vehicle caught fire at a charging station near the intersection of Yongwen Road and Zhangzhong Road in Haikou, Hainan Province. The vehicle suddenly caught fire during the charging process, spreading to a nearby taxi within half an hour. Both vehicles were completely destroyed, and the charging station also suffered some damage. On January 19, a video circulated on social media showing a new energy vehicle spontaneously combusting on the road. The burning vehicle appeared to be a Neos 11, and the fire started at the rear, with flames emerging from the rear tire and chassis. The entire vehicle was engulfed in flames in an instant, leaving only an empty shell. On January 18, a small Xpeng electric car caught fire near a charging station in Wumei parking lot. Pinghu, Jiaxing, Zhejiang, burning to an empty shell. On January 14, a bus parking lot in Qingdao caught fire, resulting in 8 burned buses, 7 of which were reduced to empty shells. Thick smoke filled the scene, and flames soared. The cause of the fire was reported as electromagnetic ignition. A larger-scale fire occurred a year ago. On January 30, 2023, a vacant lot in Fenwang Village, Tianya District, Sanya, Hainan, where new energy buses were parked, caught fire. 67 new energy buses were burned, with an estimated area of 1,800 square meters. According to statistics from the Chinese Communist Party's Emergency Management Department, the spontaneous combustion rate of new energy vehicles increased by 32% in the first quarter of 2023 alone, with an average of 8 new energy vehicles catching fire, including spontaneous combustion, every day. Chinese social issues expert Xia Yifan told the Epoch Times that Zhu Hirong's revelation of industry secrets in a public forum goes against the expectations of the Chinese market. The situation of new energy vehicles is just the tip of the iceberg of China's overall economic situation. Shoddy manufacturing, low overall technical and management levels, and low profits caused by ruthless competition all contribute to the dim prospects of the industry. U.S. lawmakers are concerned about Chinese companies' Lidar technology. With the widespread use of Chinese companies' Lidar light detection and ranging in autonomous driving technology, U.S. lawmakers are concerned that this technology could turn electric vehicles into spy vehicles, posing a threat to national security. Historically, the Chinese Communist Party has focused on so-called strategic emerging industries. The strategy is to concentrate on breakthroughs in emerging technologies within a short period, leveraging the huge demand in the Chinese market and government policy support to lower prices to seize the international market. This pattern has been followed from solar power and wind energy to 5G and electric cars, and now to Lidar. What adds a more malicious dimension is the CCP's utilization of the openness of Western markets. With the support of CCP industrial policies, Chinese companies enter Western markets, acquire Western technologies, obtain Western funds, and use Western resources against the West. This is not only an economic security issue, but also concerns the future of the West. This CCP policy has raised concerns among U.S. lawmakers. A bipartisan group of members of the U.S. House of Representatives has requested the Biden administration investigate all Chinese Lidar technology companies to determine whether they should be included in the entity list. Lidar, the eyes of self-driving cars, is a strategic emerging industry for the CCP. Lidar is a sensor that scans the surrounding environment and generates three-dimensional images with high-resolution and long-distance detection capabilities. Unlike other sensing technologies such as cameras, Lidar's performance does not degrade in low light. Since the United States first used Lidar in defense and aerospace in the 1960s, various industries, automotive, precision agriculture, meteorology, manufacturing, and smart cities have adopted Lidar. With the growth in demand for electric vehicles (EVs) and autonomous driving, Lidar is rapidly becoming an industry standard and more automakers are using Lidar as the eyes of autonomous vehicles. In recent years, the CCP is increasingly focused on this emerging technology. In 2020, Beijing classified Lidar technology as a strategic emerging industry. Although the West still holds a leading position in research capabilities and intellectual property, Chinese companies, with the support of CCP industrial policies, subsidies, and market protection, are rapidly expanding their scale, selling products at prices below cost to gain market share. In terms of shipment volume, Chinese companies accounted for 58% of the global automotive Lidar market in 2020. With the support of CCP industrial policies, Chinese companies have entered Western markets on a large scale, obtaining funds and technology for their own development. For example, in 2022, Citigroup conducted a $1.4 billion reverse merger with the U.S. company Quanergy Systems. In 2018, China Investment Corporation collaborated with Goldman Sachs to acquire the U.S. Boyd Corporation. In 2015, the CCP's National Semiconductor Fund funded Navtech's acquisition of the Swedish company Silex. In 2015, Chinese state investors acquired the U.S. sensor design company Omnivision. Chinese automaker Geely invested in the U.S. company Luminar to jointly develop Lidar technology. Taking Hesai Technology, China's largest Lidar manufacturer, as an example, it first collaborated with Bosch, a major Lidar patent holder and a first-tier automotive supplier in Germany. Then, in November 2022, it obtained a loan of 700 million yuan, approximately $98.4 million, and in February 2023, it successfully went public in the United States, raising $190 million. China also has connections with Lidar research in the United States. For example, the Tsinghua Berkeley Shenzhen Institute, engaged in Lidar research, may have connections with the Sensor and Actuator Center at the University of California, Berkeley, and the Marvel Nanolab. Chinese companies have also faced allegations of intellectual property theft. In 2019, the U.S. company Validine accused Chinese companies Hesai and RoboSense of infringing on intellectual property. In 2023, the U.S. company Ouster accused Hesai of infringing on 5 of Ouster's patents. Chinese electric cars turning into spy vehicles. The CCP's unfair expansion in the technology and market of Lidar has raised concerns among U.S. lawmakers. On February 28, 2023, Chairman of the House China Strategic Competition Committee, Representative Mike Gallagher, Republican from Wisconsin, held the committee's first hearing in the Cannon House office building in Washington. On November 28, Chairman of the House CCP Committee, Representative Mike Gallagher, and Senior Democratic Representative Raja Krishnamurthy, along with 20 bipartisan members of the House, wrote a letter to Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, requesting an investigation into all Chinese Lidar companies to determine whether they should be included in the entity list. The lawmakers wrote, "Given the importance of Lidar, ensuring that U.S. technology used in foreign Lidar systems will not be used by our adversaries to manufacture autonomous military vehicles and weapons is crucial. Urgent action is needed to prevent the spread of Lidar produced by entities supported by hostile countries in the U.S. market, or entering the U.S. capital market or critical infrastructure systems." Lawmakers specifically mentioned that Chinese Lidar could be extensively installed on autonomous vehicles driving in the United States and deployed in the smart cities of U.S. critical infrastructure, including traffic signals, ports, and bridges. According to China's national security law, all Chinese Lidar companies must provide all available data collected, which means the CCP may not only access data on U.S. maps and infrastructure, but also access data from the U.S. military. Su Zhiyu, director of the Institute of Strategic and Resource Studies at the Taiwan Institute for National Defense and Security Research, told the Epoch Times that Lidar or electric cars, through big data operations, are very sensitive to the surrounding environment. Their technological characteristics have the ability to collect intelligence. He said, "Both electric vehicles and self-driving cars emphasize online data exchange functions. There are 2 specific risks. One is that electric cars can recognize images, and once they reach military or sensitive areas, they may transmit images opportunistically. You can imagine a Chinese-made electric car deliberately driving to a U.S. naval base and then activating the Lidar to scan U.S. vessels. Creating a digital model of the vessel's entire structure allows for countermeasures or attacks. Second, if thousands of electric cars are running on the road, as the manufacturer of these electric cars, they can restore some of the country's economic status in specific individuals. The deep-rooted Cold War mentality of the CCP. What sets the CCP apart from most regimes is its deep-seated sense of insecurity, driving an obsession with espionage. Over the past 20 years, the CCP has secretly collected the personal privacy of its citizens, from credit cards to mobile phones. Su Ziyun believes that CCP espionage is systematic. Early on, Hikvision used monitors, Huawei used communication, and DJI drones used aerial photography. Now, Lidar obtains more precise digital models, each individual technology attached to different products. He said, the CCP previously promoted ZTE and Huawei's low-price telecommunications in Africa. On the one hand, it expanded demand, and more importantly, it collected intelligence. The Palestinian parliament found that when they held meetings, the data would pass through the Huawei system to a location in Beijing. African countries found that ZTE's base stations could lock onto specific political figures. The United States does not care about a $5 billion market, but is more concerned about security issues. Su Ziyun said, because once all these infrastructures or all the secrets are scanned in, $5 billion cannot cover it. Moreover, the original technology is in the hands of the United States and Western countries. If they decouple from the CCP now, they will quickly restart another industry chain. As for how to control Lidar from China, Su Ziyun believes that the United States or democratic countries will start from the source. To enter this market, you must comply with national security standards, and unauthorized transmission of customer data is steep if violations are found. Fines and improvements may be imposed. In severe cases, importation may be prohibited, and the most serious consequence is withdrawal from the U.S. market, similar to the U.S. government's ban on federal officials using TIC. This way, the future world will be divided into two camps. One is the market of democratic rule of law, and the other is the red market. This is what the U.S. Commerce Secretary has recently emphasized. The use of these technologies must comply with democracy and the rule of law, he said.